Hello, my name's Caitlin Johnson, and I am the Communications Director of Policy Matters Ohio. Thanks for having me here today. And we're research.
If you would, could you spell your name for the record?
Sure. CAITLINJOHNSON.
Thank you.
And I'm a resident of Shaker Heights, which is House District 9 and Senate District 21. So I'm here representing my organization, which a lot of you are probably familiar with. We do research and analysis, and our hope is that we're going to provide you, our policymakers, with the best information possible so you can write laws and rules that make Ohio a vibrant and healthy and prosperous place for all of us. No exceptions. But I'm also speaking today as an Ohioan whose family came here from Ireland in the 1920s in search of political freedom and economic opportunity. I live in Shaker Heights, like I said, with my husband, my son, and my stepchildren. And I want Ohio to live up to the promise my grandparents came here for. And since I'm mentioning my family, I just want to say to Governor DeWine, you know, my cousin was Pat Sweeney. He was the great legislator from Cleveland. A lot of you probably know him. And I was so touched last year after he passed when you and Lieutenant Governor Husted went on TV and talked about him. And I think Pat really kind of embodies that spirit of working across party lines and putting Ohio and the community that he's serving first. And I hope that you can remember my cousin and the words that you said about him when you're making this decision, because I know that he would want us to do what's best for all the people in Ohio and not just, you know, corporate donors and doing what we can to hang on to power. So that said, all Ohioans deserve the freedom to choose the elected leaders who are accessible and accountable to the people, we the people, no matter where we live or what we look like or what political party we support. And that's fundamental to our American form of government. But today, certain political interests are rigging the rules to divide communities and minimize the power of Black and brown Ohioans just so they can hang on to power and wealth. And Ohioans know what's happening. We can see this very clearly. And when we don't believe in the people elected to represent us, and we don't believe that those people care about our families and our communities and our future, we're going to lose faith in our government. And in a state and in a nation that is so intensely divided, that I think we all can recognize how damaging that is. The consequences of that are really painfully clear. So you all, the members of the Redistricting Commission, have a chance to show Ohioans that the politicians aren't concerned about how to keep their party in power or how to appease their donors, that you want us all to live in a thriving state where we can make our voices heard. But instead, we're seeing the opposite. The maps approved by the commission along party lines make a mockery of the constitutionally mandated process voters approved and affirm the worst stereotypes about politicians. And as I mentioned, I have politicians in my family. I like politicians. Now, I work at a research institute, so I know the data about Ohio really well. And we just released our State of Working Ohio report that shows more and more of the wealth that hardworking Ohioans create is in the hands of the wealthiest few and the highest paid, while people whose wages are being held, the rest of us, our wages are being held down. Ohioans have suffered under districts that are drawn to deliberately silence our voices. We haven't had good outcomes in nearly every measure that matters. We are underperforming the nation, whether it comes to infant mortality rates, and especially in the case of Black babies. We're underperforming. Our college accessibility and completion rates are behind the nation. This system has not worked well for the people, and it's not serving us. Now, like I said, I live in Shaker Heights. I'm a third-generation Clevelander. Anybody knows that lives in Cleveland that when you draw a district that stretches across the city, that what you are, from west side to east side, what you're really doing is diluting and silencing the Black vote. We all know that. We all know that. So I know that my time has come to an end, and you know, I have a lot to say, but really it's disingenuous to do anything beyond trying to keep our communities together. You know, Ohioans, you all have a chance to show us that we can do something. We can do something together as a state. We can come together across party lines. And you can show the nation that that's possible too. Let's be an example. Let's do what Governor DeWine said. Show that this is a state, a progressive state that people will want to come to. And if you all take your job seriously and make your choices based on what's best for the people, we can have that. So Thank you.
Are there questions for the witness? Seeing none.